Hello viewers, I've been very naughty again. Here we are in the West Midlands filming at Summit Garage near Dudley, and someone gave me the chance to film this 2018 Mazda MX-5 ND RF 1.5 Sport Nav. Welcome to Contingency Reviews. I do apologise, I'm filming this car with the roof down, but it is a convertible sports car and it is a nice day. So the ND MX-5, which is the fourth generation of these cars, was released back in 2015. It's still in production today. This is a relatively early car. It dates from 2018 and it's done 31,000 miles. It's currently for sale at Summit Garage in Dudley, where you get apparently years MOT and 15-month warranty in all the used cars. So there were 3 engines available in this car. This one, which is a 1.5 with 129 horsepower, a 2 litre with 160 horsepower, and then from 2018 onwards, when the facelift came in, a 2 litre with 182 horsepower. Most of these have a 6-speed manual gearbox, but you can get an automatic. I think on the 2 litres, although I gathered from one of my friends that the automatic is no longer available in the RF model, which is this one with the holding metal hardtop. The ND is a very light car actually for a modern one, and yeah, it feels really nice to drive. 0 to 60 in this car I think is about 8 seconds, with 2 litres that are faster than this, of course. The ride on the sport model is a bit further than standard, but it's still actually, in my opinion, really quite controlled. It deals with sort of surfaces much better than you'd imagine. The only thing I am getting, and it's the same on all the MX-5s I've ever driven, I've driven a Mark 1, a Mark 2 and a Mark 3 as well, is the camera mount is wobbling around a bit too much more than I would imagine. That's a bit of a shame, but it shows that you know, we don't have as much rigidity as we would do in a car with a complete sort of metal hardtop. So I'm pleased to be driving the RF model with this fully metal roof, which is a lot more practical, of course, for driving around this country with the weather being what it is, although today is a nice day. This 6-speed manual gearbox is absolutely amazing. It's an absolute pleasure to use. This car's low mileage, done 31,000 miles, and it's in really good condition. I was hoping actually to drive one of these on sensible second-hand reviews, but the problem is you can't find an ND MX-5 for less than about £8,000. They just don't exist. So Contingency Reviews it is, because we've got other things we're doing today anyway. Been out for almost 10 years, I still think the shape really hasn't dated at all. There have been several facelifts. Major one was, I think, a little bit after this car was made in 2018, and then updates in 2021 and also this year 2024. Ludicrous for sort of placement of the dealer plate that I have to put there for the purposes of insurance and things like that and legality, because I can't really see, but it'll do, won't it? It's funny how the sort of centre section of this is exactly the same as the Fiat 124 Spider that I tried in 2022, although the engines are completely different in the MX-5 from the Fiat, and that is long discontinued. Let's have a look in the boot. It's not massive, to be honest, at all. It's really not very big. I do like the way that the RF model actually looks really good with the roof up or down. It's not even 200 litres for boot, but I suppose it's deep enough. I don't think you can get a spare wheel these days with these cars. There is a light, which is good. I think if you packed sensibly, then it's only a 2-seater anyway, so if you were going away with someone else for the weekend, you could probably get some soft bags in there, but large suitcases, that's really not kind of carved wood. Much better to buy something like, I don't know, a Mazda 3 if you're thinking about practicality. But yeah, it's better than some cars I've driven like this. I like the way that the bonnet, in comparison to the rest of the car, is actually really long. The shape of it does look good. Not so keen on these black wheels, but I'm not really a fan of black wheels on any car really, so there's no surprise there. This one's done about 31,000 miles. It looks fantastic. A lot of these are used as second cars, of course, although some people would like to use them all the time. Keyless entry on this particular model. I've actually got a little build sticker in here which tells us the specification of the car. So it's an MX-5, it's the RF with the folding metal roof, 131 PS, it's about 129 horsepower, sport nav. Obviously it's a petrol. So let's get in. It does require you to sort of step down a fair bit, but that's just the nature of it. And then you get into this fantastic driving position. Absolutely first class, lovely 6-speed manual. You can get an automatic on an MX-5 as well. I think it's on the 2-litre model. Someone's also thought quite carefully about how someone's going to use the car. We've got heated seats in here, triple stage, 2 USB ports and an aux in. The navigation for the screen is actually down here. It's not a touch screen. It's not a bad system actually. We'll show you that later. And then if we look at the dials, so we'll actually turn the car on and see what happens. Just do that. There we go. Yeah, so my door's open and things. But the rev counter's right in the middle, a bit like a Porsche, I suppose. Speedo's on the right hand side. And well, it tells you everything that you need to know and not a lot that you don't. The only weird thing about this car, and it's the same on many modern cars, you don't get a temperature gauge, just a couple of lights, so it's a blue one if it's cold. We have got climate control in here, not that you might want to use it all the time. I mean, you've got a roof you can put up and down. The switch for the roof is just here. Very simple dials for the heating and ventilation. We'll take a look actually at the screen here. So you press the home button, and it's the same system as on a Fiat 124 Spider. This is the Sport Nav model, so we've got navigation. We'll just have a look at that. It's probably not going to be that exciting, really. There we go, at Hemley Hall. Go back home, see if there's anything else that's in any way exciting. Entertainment. DB radio, good. Do we have possibly some other way of accessing the settings? So we're on DAB radio. Do we have to sort of go through here? Yeah, Bluetooth, USB 1, USB 2. Okay, and we go back by pressing that button there. It's not too bad, this system. It's it's reasonably intuitive. You get used to it. You can see there's a back button down here and some physical controls for the volume and a sort of soft key there, depending on what you want. There is no glove box in this car. There is none whatsoever. There are no door pockets in this car. You do have to get these cup holders, which you can put there, and the CD player in here. That's going to be a pain if you're trying to change it whilst you're driving. That's the replacement of the glove box of that sort of thing there. I don't even know where you put the car's manual. There's also a little tray down here for things. Can't put the manual in there. I suppose with these Mazdas you do get an online service book anyway, so maybe you don't need to worry about it so much. Got lane departure, warning lane keeping assist there. Got cruise control, buttons for the telephone. So yeah, the steering was very nice to hold. Automatic lights and automatic wipers on this car. So it's refreshing to look at a modern car. I mean, this is a 2018, it's 6 years old, but they're not too dissimilar from this now actually, the MX-5s, and just be able to explain things really quickly. Cup holders are probably useful, but don't get in the way when changing gear, because the gear lever is here. I'd probably say, unless you really need an automatic, an MX-5 is best as a manual. That's one of the best gear changes in the world, possibly, this 6-speed here. And the normal handbrake is just here. The transmission is good. It's very low to the ground, but that's what it's about, really, isn't it? It's about feeling the road, and the steering and everything's great. I mean, obviously, when we go out for another drive, we'll experience a bit more of that now. Yeah, if I just shut the door actually, see if there's anything else in the central screen that we need to worry about. It's probably not too much. Okay, so we've got some fuel, which is good. You sort of just fiddle with these buttons in here. Yeah, there we go. You press this info button on the steering wheel and it goes through miles per gallon. I'm sure on this 1.5 you get better economy than that if you're doing a longer journey. It's probably just because it's not gone very far, that's why it's getting that, unless someone's driven very, very hard, which you suppose you might do. Maintenance monitor. Interesting. Right, let's take a look under the bonnet, shall we? So 1.5 4-cylinder Sky Active engine generating 129 horsepower, 131 PS. Chain driven. These engines are actually very, very reliable. A version of this engine is also used in versions of the Mazda 2. Mounted longitudinally, of course, and rear-wheel drive. Unlike so many other cars these days, it's not a transverse engine. It's not front-wheel drive. It doesn't look too bad to work on, actually, for a modern car. Last time we saw something like this, the car was, of course, the Fiat 124 Spider, where that Fiat multi-air engine was mounted longitudinally in that position. One thing you do have to watch on these cars, regardless of how many miles they've done, is rust. It's amazing, really. You're such a modern car, but all MX-5s, right away through from 89 onwards, do suffer from rust, and these do as well, which is a real surprise. But there we go. Anyway, let's not be so negative. Let's go out for another spin, because that's what this is all about. So the steering is very crisp, it's very delicate. In fact, the whole car is very delicately set up. It's just an absolute joy and a delight. I'm really, really surprised that I haven't had a chance to go in one of these for a long time. The Fiat 124 is probably a little bit softer than this. They didn't last very long, actually. They're only 16 to 19, unfortunately. They weren't big sellers. But these, yeah, you can still get a brand new one. And I recommend, if you really want this sort of car, get one now. I don't think the price is necessarily going to soften in the second-hand market. Particularly on this one, it's about £13,500, and it's a car that's 6 years old. The sound is glorious. Chuck it round and round about, so accurate, the steering. Driving position is very, very low down. Legs straight out in front. Steering wheel's exactly where I want it. It's just an absolute pleasure. This. I don't really know what else to say. The wind noise is terrible. I do apologise. And the only real thing is I haven't got this car for very long. I have to return it, which is a shame. I've had to take the tray plate out the back because, well, I was afraid it was going to fall straight off onto the road. So that's why I haven't got it in the rear. There's not really anywhere safe to put it, which is a shame. But I've got one in the front, so that's okay. You can see why people absolutely love these cars. I mean, to me, it's a little bit too impractical for me to use. I think, though, my lady wife actually would like something like this at some point in her life. I think she would find it just absolutely delightful, as I have done. And just much easier to live with than so many other cars like this. There's not really any rivals left on the market now. The nearest thing was the old Toyota GR86. I don't think it's available for sale over here now, which is a real shame because it was a really good car as well. But you know, the loads of these around. The clubs are really good. It's not really much I can say more than I already have done. It's been a tremendous amount of fun, and it's a shame my fun is now coming to an end. Let's now look at some ND MX-5 trim levels views. So many. I think the current ones are exclusive line, Homura and Prime line, but there are so many others. The Arctic, the GT Sport Nav Plus, the GT Sport Tech, the Icon, the, I can't remember my own writing, Comuna, R Sport, SE, SEL, Nav, SE Plus, Sport, Sport Nav Plus, 100th anniversary. I imagine it's 100th anniversary of Mazda. Sport Recaro, Sport Tech, Sport Ventures, Z Sport, 30th anniversary. I imagine that was in 2019. The launch edition, the Sport Black and the Sport Nav, like this one. So viewers, should you consider an ND MX-5? Well, I don't see why not. The only real issue with this is you might need more than 2 seats, and you've got to check the other side for rust. But apart from that, I can see why this is the best-selling car of its type. And I'll be very sad when Mazda inevitably discontinue this in favour of some kind of electric car, which will be a shame. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video and comment below, and we shall see you again very soon for some more last minute reviews.